Hello and welcome to another episode of Livin the Farm Life. So today we're kind of coming into the time of year when we're needing to think about dealing with everyone's not so favorite issue with livestock, and that is flies. I'm going to talk a little bit about the horse aspect of it and the cattle aspect of it today. So my name is Gretchen Riley. We're here at the Purina Animal Nutrition Center, and I have Mrs. Andrea Brueggemann with me. She is the manager of the equine unit here, and we're just going to kind of talk through, I mean, we all don't like flies, right? But let's kind of talk through some of the serious issues and how can we help us and help our horses and all that kind of stuff. So kind of tell me about fly stuff.
All right, so some of the issues with flies are, obviously, they're just a nuisance. So the horses don't like them sometimes, especially the big deer flies or the horse flies. They just cause the horses just to go kind of crazy. So they can be dangerous to be around when the horse flies are landing on them. I've seen horses roll and, just be completely out of control, like uncharacteristic for them. So just kind of a nuisance. So, and then some of the other issues is it can cause like skin issues. So like a dermatitis, if they have a wound, the flies can get into that wound, and that's never a good thing. They get around their eyes, they can bring infection into their eyes. And then also stomping. So to get flies off their legs, they stomp a lot. If you have horses with shoes on, you might be taking and resetting shoes all the time. So it can get a little costly there. Yeah. So those are, I would say, some of the main issues.
Yep. And me personally, I have issues with horses stomping, and they can get rocks up in there, and that can cause abscesses. And so flies in general, we need to keep them under control. So let's talk about how we can help our horses, how we can help ourselves in barns and outside. So I would say there's probably three things that go into fly management. So you want to do like a premise control. So whether that's inside your barn, if you want to do like fly traps, or have like a fly spray system that goes off on a timer. So when the flies are like resting and sitting on everything, which is normally after dusk, and have it spray then to try to control the fly population. And then also controlling them on your horse. So like actual horse protection. So you can use fly sprays, flies wipes. There's all kinds of fly sheets that you can put on your horse for out on pasture, fly boots or leggings, and then fly masks to keep them off their face. So those are most of the things that you could do for your horse. And then there's pour-ons. So you can, if your horses are out in the pasture and you use a pour-on, you can do it every 2 weeks. It's pretty easy, and that can help control the fly population as well. Lastly is like pasture or manure management. So you picking up manure every day or dragging your pastures, that helps spread the population out. And then hopefully, more predators can get to the flies if they're spread about and they're not all in one big pile. Right, and when you spread it out, the sun can dry it out and kill a lot of that stuff that's in the manure.
Right.
So,
yes. Very helpful.
Yep, great. So and we kind of do have one more thing that we can help our horses with, and that's feed products that can help with flies.
True, yeah. We just came out with EquiTub, and it is just like a pasture tub. It's like a lick tub, and it can go out, and we have them in 55-pound containers and also 125-pound containers. So, and those actually have clarifly in them, which is a larvicide, which when they eat it, it gets into the manure, and then the flies lay their eggs in there, and the eggs cannot develop into flies. So it works really good for pasture horses as well.
Yeah, great stuff. I've used it on my horses, and man, does it make a world of difference. So,
yes.
Well, lots of really great information and things to think about as we're enjoying coming into fly season pretty quick. So anyway, well, thanks for talking about horses. We are now going to spend some time over at the beef cattle unit and talk to Renee, our manager over there, about kind of some of the same issues that we have with cattle. So we are now over at the cattle unit, and I am here with Renee Roetheli. She is the assistant manager at our cattle unit, and we're going to kind of continue this conversation about how much we love flies, but how we can work with them and deal with them on the cattle side of things. So welcome, Renee, and thanks for joining me. Horses and cattle are a little bit different in how we manage flies with them and how we deal with them, and kind of there's even some economic impacts with cattle. So tell me a little bit about just issues that cattle have with flies.
All right. So cattle and flies, I mean, are a pain in the butt. They're more than just a nuisance. You know, they cost the cattle producer thousands of dollars in performance loss and gain from them, you know, fighting the flies, head tossing and tail switching and just being uncomfortable. So a lot of, you know, gain and performance losses, you know, are observed. The other thing is the dreaded 2 words, pink eye. Cattle farmers just absolutely hate it. It costs the industry billions of dollars in treatment and labor and gain. So that's an issue with the face flies. And then the horn flies, if you have issues with that, that could lead into the horn flies actually ruining the teat ends of your heifers and cows' udders, and can cause mastitis and just ruin their quarters or udders for later production. So that's a problem. And then as well as all the bloodborne viruses and diseases that are passed on from the flies and the horse flies from cow to cow. That's a major issue we face as well.
Yeah. So it is a major economic impact for cattle owners. So definitely something that we want to take care of and deal with, obviously. So what are some things that we can do to help our cattle with this?
Okay, so here at the farm, we're standing out in one of our test pastures. Every pasture has a fly rub on it, and we charge them with an insecticide, and then we use a mineral oil for the carrier. So we charge them, try to keep them fresh and charged. You can see it's next to a protein tub, so their supplement, their feeding source. We like to keep them where it's close to where they're getting feed or water. That way it's high traffic areas. The other thing is you can feed a mineral with some fly control in it. There's products available for that. And then a lot of producers can spray cattle down. That gets to be more of a labor and getting your cattle up and all that. Sometimes, it's hot, it's just not ideal, but some producers can make that work where they can spray them. They feed them something and spray them down with a UTV sprayer. Fly tags. That type of thing. Now for our confinement barns, it's actually a little bit easier, and they're easier for us to manage. So we have fans in all the confinement barns, and I think that helps a lot. And then we also clean out the bedding weekly and put in fresh bedding. So we have no buildup of waste building up and housing, fly growth. Right. And then we sweep out or blow out our feed alleys every day. And then also if we have any bad wet feed laying around, we always destroy it and get rid of it so none of that's laying around.
Yeah. So just really important that any warm, moist thing, wet feed, wet manure, whatever, just keep that out of their environment, get it out on pastures or just out of the area so it can dry up, and flies can't live very long in that type of thing. So great, all great things. You talked about products, so that's super helpful. Some of our feed through products, so we have a mineral product. Any other types of products that you could set out for cattle?
So like she was saying, we have a fly control version of our mineral in our wind and rain, and it has the Ulticit that actually is a feed through, and that will help with the manure and kill the flies, the larvae and the flies. As far as we have that available in a loose mineral as well as in our tub mineral.
Great. So some really good options for management for out on pasture. Now, and that's something that you could provide in a confinement setting also?
Yes, you could.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, none of us like flies, right?
No, not at all.
They're an issue. We are just coming into that season, and so we're getting prepared with products, with management things, getting barns set up, all that kind of thing. We had a great talk about horses too, so definitely something to pay attention to.
Exactly.
But anyway, so for you folks, tons of information about dealing with flies, how to take care of them on our purinamills.com website. But for any questions you might have or any products or resources that you need, absolutely go visit your local Purina dealer.